Hello, coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with Bernardo Silva as Manchester City continue to demand at least 80 million euros from the Barca target as the player is still showing strong interest to leave the Etihad and join FC Barcelona as it is his dream move. Then, secondly, in this episode, talking about right back Julian Araujo, as newly promoted side Las Palmas are showing strong interest for the Barca youngster, but the move has been halted due to some unforeseen circumstances. We are also going to be discussing on that. So, guys, as we get right into the stories in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barca have been dealt with a fresh blow in their bid to sign Bernardo Silva, although the club had given up their pursuit for the City star a while ago. It appears there is practically no possibility of signing the player this summer. According to a new report, Man City are demanding a whopping 80 million euro for the services of Bernardo this summer. This makes the player an unaffordable target for Barca. The club are facing economic crisis and must get rid of their unwanted stars in order to reduce their inflated wage bill. Luis Rojo's update on Bernardo Silva came shortly after a report which suggested Man City are seeking ambitious swap deal involving Silva and Frankie de Jong, but it appears the Premier League giants favor a cash deal for the playmaker. Formerly of Benfica, Bernardo Silva have enjoyed immense success since joining Man City in 2017, that is about 6 years ago. He has featured in over 300 matches for them, winning almost everything there is to win in European and English football. However, shortly after securing Champions League title last month, Bernardo Silva hinted at his desire to start new adventure. Barca are touted as possible destination, with the player himself keen on playing his trade for the Catalans, but Barca are not in a position at all to fund a move for Bernardo Silva, which means the club must shift their focus to other alternatives. Giovanni Lo Celso could reportedly emerge as the ideal choice for Barca as they look to reinforce their positions or their options in the creative department. However, it must be noted that Barca are likely to prioritize a move for right back and a defensive midfielder before they set their sights on a creative midfielder. Of course, Barcelona continue to be linked with Bernardo Silva, and of course, honestly, I never saw this coming that Silva will be linked again to Barca because there are other things that we're even going through a lot difficulties to bring, and now talking about a player who is worth 80 million. That sounds so unrealistic that Barca can make it happen. Of course, reports came out earlier saying that the player is still dying, or in fact, he's still crazy about the idea of joining Barca, and he wants Barca to try and make an effort. By the way, how can Barca even start making an effort when it is impossible to do it? That's a problem because, except it is a loan move, but still yet we have been saying that even a loan move will be very difficult to materialize. Man City are not in favor of any loan move for their super players. Same have been said about João Cancelo and Bernardo Silva as well. The player wants to move to Barca, but if Barca are going for a loan move, it's still going to be an expensive loan move because the loan fees will be a heavy one, considering that the player is a high-profile player. So as it stands right now, Barca have other areas that I think they should be focusing on, like the defensive midfield role. Of course, we know that it has been a priority for us. Xavi have been saying that uncountable times. Of course, we have already signed Ilkay Gundogan. Even if we don't bring another creative midfielder, I don't think there's any huge problem because we have the likes of Pedri, we have the likes of Frankie de Jong. So why would they be thinking about another person? It should be the last choice, by the way, too, because we are hearing players like Giovanni Lo Celso. I've been talking about players, like Alex Baena. Now talking about Bernardo Silva, who are all creative midfielders. and I don't see it as anything necessary. It doesn't make sense to me. Of course, I know Xavi is trying to back up his point by squad depth, having a good bench, all stuff like that. But let's focus on what we can achieve. Let's focus on what we can afford. Things are going so downhill now for Barca, and currently we just have to make do with what we need at the moment, right? Not even going somewhere that we don't even see it as necessity, because the things now that we are going through is too much financially. Then moving on to the final story of discussion, Julian Araujo has been at Barca for around 6 months, but has been unable to make his debut for the club. The Mexican signed for the Catalans in the January window from LA Galaxy, but his signing was not ratified by FIFA due to delays in paperwork from the club. As such, he was unable to play for Barca and spent the last 6 months alternating training between the first team and the reserves. Currently going through preseason with the rest of the team. There have been question marks over Julian Araujo's future at Barca due to the club planning to sign new right back and his lack of experience in Europe. Later this week, reports suggested Araujo is set to leave Barca on loan and sign for Las Palmas for the 2023-24 season. But according to a fresh report from journalist Ashraf Ben Ayed, you know, even though the interest from Las Palmas is true and valid, the 21-year-old right back currently focused on doing preseason with Xavi's men. As mentioned earlier, Barca working to sign new right back and have been linked with names like João Cancelo, Ivan Fresneda, and Pablo Maffeo of Mallorca. Meanwhile, the possibility of Dest staying put at the club beyond the summer is not even off the table as well. As such, Araujo could find it so difficult to get the game time he needs, which would be far from ideal for him to continue developing. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.